There was a shooting in our neighborhood that we just moved into. Jesus.
This is a teaching for women. So you're 100% right. Our Bible says in the end times people will be covetous, lovers of themselves, truth breakers, covenant breakers. And it's because of the churches, they all go apostate, which is written. There'll be a falling away first. I think this is either 1st or 2nd Thessalonians. They'll fall away. The churches will. They'll go all apostate. There'll be no place clean. Isaiah chapter 28. No place clean. You know why it says that? Because they are covenant breakers. The church teaches that they've turned the grace of God into lasciviousness. Jude chapter 1 verse 4. What is lasciviousness? It's unbridled lust, wantonness, shamelessness. You can give in to your lust and your sin. You can be a sinner and come before the Lord shameless because you get undeserved favor. That's your undeserved favor, your unmerited favor, turning the grace of God into lasciviousness as is written in your Bible. Jude chapter 1 verse 4. For the grace of God is a spirit. Hebrews chapter 10 verse 29. Don't trodden underfoot the Son of Man and count the covenants. You know those covenant breakers? Don't count the covenant that he was sanctified in, an unholy thing, and sin despite unto a spirit of grace. Titus 2 tells you what his grace is. Titus 2 verse 11, grace has appeared to all men, teaching them to deny sin and lusts of this world. The opposite of lasciviousness, teaching them. How does it teach them? G5485. Look it up in the Strong's Concordance. It's especially a divine influence upon the heart, teaching you to deny sin and lust of this world so you can live righteously. What's Jehovah's righteousness? It's Yeshua's first and great commandment he gave you in Matthew 22. Love God with all your heart, soul, and mind, quoting Deuteronomy chapter 6, verse 5 through 25. Love God with all your heart, soul, and mind. Keep the commandments in your heart. Teach them to your children when they rise up, when they lay down, when they walk by. Bind them on your hand. And the last verse, verse 25, it will be your righteousness to do all these commandments which Jehovah has commanded thee. Covenant breakers. His son was prophesied to refresh the covenant at Horeb, what God gave with his voice at the rock of Horeb, the 10 Commandments. He was prophesied to magnify the law and make it honorable, and to end sacrificial law, the law added because of transgression, because they made the golden calf after they made that verbal agreement, that verbal covenant to keep the 10 Commandments. Moses went up on the mountain to receive that contract written on stone, and they transgressed with the calf. That's why Yeshua said, I came to fulfill the law and the prophets, not to destroy, because he magnified the law and made it honorable, refreshing the covenant at Horeb. Deuteronomy 18, verse 15 through 19, Acts 3, verse 18 through 23. Jehovah was going to send a prophet. He was going to teach what was desired at Horeb. Whoever didn't listen to that prophet and what he commanded, Jehovah was going to require it of them and destroy those that don't listen to him. Acts 3. Covenant breakers. Christians break every single one of his commandments. They have gods before Jehovah. Christmas, Easter, Jeremiah 10, Jeremiah 4, 744. Worshipping Tammuz, the sun god, cutting a tree out from the forest, bringing it into their house, nailing it down so it doesn't topple over, decking it with silver and gold, wearing a Tammuz cross, the image made onto the beast, Revelations 13, Hosea 2:2, plead with your mother to remove the adulteries between your breasts. Isaiah 44, the workman that stretches out the ruler, marks it with a line, makes an image of a man according to the beauty of a man. Deuteronomy 12, don't ask how they worship their gods so you can worship their gods. Jeremiah 10, don't learn the ways of the heathen. You cannot drink from both cups, the cup of devils and the cup of Jehovah. You cannot mix the profane with the holy, and Christianity has. They elevated the lawless one who's nailed all of the covenants, both covenants of promise to the cross in Ephesians 2 that you must keep to be grafted in, telling you can fill your vessels with swine's flesh. Isaiah 65 and 66, end time prophecy, when Yeshua comes back with fire to judge the world. Those that have swine's flesh in their vessels, that say, don't stand by me, I'm holier than thou, are smoke under Jehovah's nose that burns all day. And they're going to be destroyed. Those filling their vessels with swine standing behind a Jeremiah 10 Christmas tree are going to be destroyed along with the mouth, all the pagan idolatry. Covenant breakers, truth breakers. 1 John chapter 2, verse 3 and 4. And this is how we know him, when we keep his commandments. And those that say they know him and keep not his commandments are liars. John 14, verse 15. If you love me, keep my commandments, and I pray to the Father to send you another comforter, the Spirit of truth. The Spirit of truth. If they say they know him and keep not his commandments, they're liars, and the truth is not in them. Truth breakers, covenant breakers, disobedience to parents. Yeshua's first and great commandment, to love God with all your heart, soul, and mind, quoting Deuteronomy chapter 6, all about his fifth commandment, to honor your father and your mother, the first commandment with promise in Ephesians chapter 6, verse 3. To keep the commandments in your heart, teach them to your children. The promise that came with that was that you'd live long in the land. The second covenant with promise, the Noah covenant, and the rainbow still in the sky, is to eat clean. The second covenant's to keep the 10 commandments of promise. If you're not keeping those, you are aliens without hope. That's what Ephesians chapter 2 tells you. You must be grafted in. Genesis 3, lest Adam take from the tree of life and live. The fruit of the righteous becomes a tree of life. Revelations 22, verse 14, blessed are they who keep the commandments, that they have right to the tree of life and are able to enter into the gates of the kingdom. Without are the whoremongers, the adulterers, the murderers, and those who love it to make a lie, love doing Christmas, Easter, these pagan witchcraft holidays, honoring other gods before God, making graven images, the sin unto death, 1 John chapter 5. Little children, keep yourself from idols. They make you deaf, dumb, and blind. Psalms 115, 135, because you become like them. This is why you have pastors and rabbis being exposed for child I don't want this to be taken off, but defiling children